Okay, if I could have the County Public Works Procurement and Contract Committee meeting for Wednesday, January 16th, 2019 will be called to order.
Calling the roll, Mr. Tuma,
Here?
Mr. Miller. Here. Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent at the moment. Mr. Schrein. Mr. Schrein is absent at the moment. Ms. Baker. Here. There is a quorum.
Okay. Madam Clerk, is there any public comment this morning?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Okay. And if I could have approval of minutes from the December 5th, 2018 meeting?
Also moved.
Okay, and we have a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Ayes have it. And Madam Clerk, if you could, please refer, the first matter referred to committee, R 2018-0265. Excuse me.
Resolution number 2018-0265, authorizing a revenue-generating utility agreement with City of Cleveland Heights in the amount not to exceed $600,000 for maintenance and repair of storm sewers and sanitary sewers located in County Sewer District Number 17 for the period 1/1/2019 through 12/31/2019.
Okay, and if you just could state your name for the record.
Sure, Mike Chambers with Public Works.
Okay, and if we could have an explanation of this resolution.
Yes, this is a continuation of agreements we've had in the past. The previous agreements were presented by the Board of Control because they were under the $500,000 threshold. Back in 2018, it was $300,000. They're forecasting, the city's forecasting additional work, which brings it to the $600,000. And what this is for is our sanitary sewer and maintenance within the city. This is what we consider a direct bill community. We have a handful of them. So what happens is we do the work and then we bill the city directly, whereas you know with the other communities, we just draw down out of the monies we collect via the tax duplicate. This is something I think some of my Board of Control colleagues will remember, but last year I didn't present this one at the Board of Control till sometime, it was like July. And working with the cities to try and get these agreements to us and determining their budget is delayed. This year we did much better. We're still a little bit late, but I'm happy to say that we're much better than last year. So we're asking for approval of this, and if by chance we could expedite it, that would be great.
Okay, just a question about the direct billing as opposed to on retainers, or so how does that work? You do the work, or they request the work, you do the work and then bill them for the work?
Right. Each of our communities are, a little bit differently, but yes, some of them we handle house calls, some of them we do house calls and cleaning and televising. And basically, we do the work. We have this agreement, and this enables us to go in there and not to exceed $600,000, and we'll do the work. And then on a quarterly basis, we'll send the city an invoice for them to reimburse us. Whereas with our full service communities, we hold the money already through the tax duplicate. And then on an annual basis, we do a master drawdown. But that's pretty much the difference. It's the same rate that we're charging both our full services and our direct bills. It's just a matter, it just so happens that some communities have a funding source to pay for these, whereas other, is a general fund, which makes our tax duplicate much more attractive.
Okay. Any questions from my colleagues? Okay, Ms. Baker?
I just want to thank you. I do remember in Board of Control with the us asking about the lateness and bringing this to us on a timely basis, that it makes a difference, and I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, with that, I'll make a motion for under suspension of the rules. That's what you need, correct?
Please,
you want
yeah.
to move it. So.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move this along. R 2018-0265 under suspension of the rules. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, and the ayes have it. Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk's next resolution.
Resolution number 2019-0014, approving a right-of-way exhibit for Adele Lane Culvert number 00.04 between Crestwood Drive and Fitch Road in Olmsted Township.
Okay, okay, and if you could state your name for the record.
Nicole English with Public Works. So we're presenting a right-of-way exhibit, which is a little different. You're used to seeing right-of-way plans, but this is a simple right-of-way acquisition, and so we followed a similar approach to what ODOT does on simple acquisitions, because this is just around a culvert. There's little slivers of property on all four corners that we're looking to get easements just to construct the culvert. So this is why it's called a right-of-way exhibit for Adele Culvert, which is in Olmsted Township, so it's the county's responsibility to construct. And it will, the estimated cost is around $2,000 for the right-of-way. It's very small takes.
Okay, any questions from my colleagues on this?
Yeah.
Mr. Miller?
Are we in agreement with the property owners on the prices, or has it not been negotiated yet, or what's the status of that?
We haven't talked to them yet, so we get this authority first, and then we're allowed to go out and talk to the property owners.
All right, thank you. Oh, go on.
And also, is there any need for passage under suspension?
We'd appreciate it to go quickly. This is, our design department decided to go a design-build approach. So they actually have put the design-build contract out. You'll see it soon. And so we'd like to get the right-of-way all squared up before they're ready for their build phase of the contract. So
Okay.
it would help.
Okay, any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'll make a motion for, under suspension of the rules on this, R 2019-0014. Could I have a second? Okay, we have a second, a motion for suspension of the rules on R 2019-0014. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Okay. Madam Clerk, if you could read the next resolution.
Resolution number 2019-0015, approving a right-of-way exhibit for Westwood Lane Culvert number 00.08 in the city of Olmsted Township.
Okay, and name for the record.
Nicole English with Public Works again. This is almost identical to the previous one, just a different culvert. This is Westwood Lane, also in Olmsted Township, also the county's responsibility. This same exhibit instead of plans, and our right-of-way estimate is around the same price, $2,000 for parcels that we're touching on on all the corners.
Okay, and so you did just a similar situation. I'd like to also recognize Councilman Schron's joined us as well. No problem. So you said $2,000 estimate for right-of-way
Cost, right?
costs, okay.
And they are being sold together. The design-build contract has them together because they're kind of a small contract. And as a side note, it was an SB set-aside, the design-build contract, so that'll be interesting to you when it comes in front of you. But similar, I'd like this one on suspension if possible because they're running on the same schedule.
And again, these are just slivers of property.
Yeah, I'm trying to even think. I mean, it's just, I was trying to see if I had an actual acreage. I mean, it's minor. It's just the four corners surrounding the culvert.
Okay, any further questions on this? Similar to the last piece of legislation, just a culvert right away from Olmsted Township. I'll make a motion for suspension of the rules on this. Okay, we have a motion and a second for suspension of rules on R 2019-0015. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2019-0016, declaring public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing West 130th Street from Bagley Road to Snow Road in the cities of Brook Park, Middleburg Heights, Parma, and Parma Heights.
Okay, if we could have an explanation of this and your name for the record.
Nicole English, Public Works. So the next three projects we're going to talk about, they're all federal aid projects that were added to the NOACA's tip by NOACA in the last round. So these were projects that NOACA identified, and then they came to the county mostly because they crossed jurisdictional boundaries. So then they'd come to the county and say, would we be interested in running the projects as federal aid projects? So we've taken these on. West 130th is in 4 cities. Our proposed funding split is 80% federal, 10% county road and bridge, and then 10% the cities divided up based on how much work is in their actual city. This project was anticipated to be in 2021, but there's actually some early money that got NOACA needed to use, and so they had asked us to push this project up. We had done this project in-house 15 or 20 years ago, so we did have the plans sort of done. You know, we have the limits and stuff, so we were easily able to get a design done, and we're hoping to sell this year.
Okay, so just to step back for a second. So this was a federal aid project identified by NOACA.
Correct.
And then so it's 80% federal, 10% municipal, each city, and then 10% is
County road and bridge.
county road and bridge. Okay, all right. And then what is the estimate? I know you said this year, but what date are we talking? Spring, summer?
So this would sell probably in late spring and start in the summer, and it'd be a 2-season project. So we also talked to Parma, and they had a sanitary project that they're trying to do in this section. So we're gonna split it into 2 years so they can get their sanitary done first, and then we'll finish the project next year of where they're putting in the sanitary sewer.
Okay. Any questions on this? Mr. Schron?
Just curious, you said that this was already done 20 years ago and it's being redone?
So NOACA has this new approach. I know Councilwoman Baker, we talked about their transportation asset management program looks at not worst first, but it looks at, there's a curve that when you hit a project at the right time before it essentially totally breaks apart, it's for a much better price. So that's how they identified these 3 projects. They aren't failed yet. You know, whereas we look at, on some of our projects, we look at the worst conditions and try to bring them up. NOACA is looking at maintaining a system to a certain level, and so they aren't looking at worst first. And that's where these ones came out of. So yes, we did do it around 20 years ago. It's not in very poor condition, it's fair to poor, but the idea is that you get in with a much cheaper solution because you're not having to fix all the base and do everything, and you buy yourself another, 20 some years with this. So it's a fairly long project, which is why it's so expensive, but in general, this approach, you spend less money on the projects and you get more time.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I know that we do something like that in manufacturing. You don't run it right to the failure.
Right.
You run it before the failure and it saves you money.
Right.
Right,
Makes a lot of sense.
So we try to balance the 2 programs. So we work with NOAC on this federal aid, and then we still have cities coming in saying, our road is in such bad shape, and there's potholes everywhere in the residents, and we do try to help them also with different programs. So we have different programs that can sort of help each step of the way, and this is how we get involved in the federal aid ones.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering, does the county not participate in that methodology of before it's run down to the core? Or
We do. The
No, I'm
problem
just
you
asking,
have
I'm not
is
being sarcastic.
when you go back to your cities and they start yelling at you about, the road is so bad
Yes.
and we need help and we can't fix it and we don't have money. We do try to help them as well. But we're encouraging the maintenance on the roads, which is why we have that pavement maintenance program, to try to get the cities thinking in the same method that if you do more upfront and you maintain, it will cost you less. It'll cost you less and us less in the future. So let's try to get on board. So we promote the maintenance too, but inevitably you have roads that have gone.
Okay.
bad.
And then as far as the timing element, obviously, if you want to start in spring, you'd like to move this along.
Yeah, it'd be nice. We're not ready to sell the project quite yet, but it would be helpful just from our designers to know that we've passed the welfare and convenience. And we can get the agreements done.
All right. Anybody have any objection to moving this along under suspension of the rules? Okay, seeing no objection, I'll make the motion for suspension of the rules.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And the ayes have it on R 2019-0016. Okay. Madam Clerk, next resolution.
Resolution number 2019-0017, declaring public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing Ridge Road from Memphis Avenue to Dennison Avenue in the cities of Brooklyn and Cleveland.
Okay, your name for the record.
Nicole English with Public Works again. So this is similar. This came through the NOACA tip. This one is not scheduled until 2020, so it's not quite as urgent. But it is a similar funding approach, 80% federal, 10% county road and bridge, and then 10% split between Brooklyn and Cleveland. And this would be anticipated to sell in 2020. So our designers will start working soon on this project, but you won't see an award until next year.
Okay, so it's the same breakup, 80, 10, 10?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from colleagues on this? Okay, seeing none. So since there's no rush on this, we can have another reading on this
Yep,
then?
that's fine.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to move this along for second reading. Okay.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and R 2019-0017 will move along to second reading. Next resolution, Madam Clerk.
Resolution number 2019-0018, declaring public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing Brainerd Road from Cedar Road to Wilson Mills Road in the cities of Highland Heights and Lyndhurst.
Nicole English with Public Works. Same as the other two. This is a federally funded job, 80, 10, 10. And this one is also anticipated for 2020, so it would sell next year. But we're just going to get ready to start designing on it.
Okay, any questions on this? Okay, seeing none, then I'll make a motion for second reading on this as well.
Second.
I have a motion, I mean, is that's
Yes, this can
Okay,
go
I'm
free.
assuming if
No
it's
problem.
2020, we got time on this. So we'll have a motion and a second for second reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. The ayes have it. And R 2019-0018 will move on for second reading. Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, is there any thing from any, is there any miscellaneous business from members of the committee? Okay, seeing none, then we'll have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second, and the committee will adjourn 23. I always like